2019 World Open here at the RACY. On table 1, we have David Collins from Australia versus Greg Yeats from England. And the referee for that match is David. On table 2, we have David Hay from Malaysia versus David Crossingham from Australia. The referee for that match is Mike Rusky. Thank you, everybody. On table 3, we have Rajiv Sharma and Joshua Burns. Rajiv from India, Joshua from Australia, and the referee, Campbell. Thank you. On table 4, we have Frank Humphries from Australia and Gary Jenner from Australia, and the referee, Peter Gilchrist from Singapore. On table 5, we have Peter Tankard from Australia versus Robbie Folvari from Australia, and the referee, Kevin Christie from Ireland. Good luck, gentlemen. On table 6, we have Simon Scarry from Australia versus Dinesh Bajaj from Australia, versus India. Jason Colbert was the referee. On table 7, we have Nathan Marsh from England versus Joshua Harms from Australia. The referee for that match is Darren Taylor from New Zealand. On table 8, we have Gene Crossingham from Australia, Grant Hayward from New Zealand, and the referee, Raj Raya from India. Okay, gentlemen, I'll hand you over to your referees to get your start and get the matches underway. I will start the clock, and then you can start the match at 10 o'clock. I will start the clock at 10 o'clock. Okay, get yourself started and ready. Good morning.
He's going to start first of all that one, just in case. We have to follow break. For 45 minutes, if you guys go for lots of time, waste for 45 minutes.
I haven't seen one. I have not seen one.
Welcome to this brief introduction to the beautiful game of English billiards. Billiards is a game played on a full-size 12-foot by 6-foot table. People might be familiar with this size table through watching snooker, but in fact the table was originally designed for billiards. Snooker only came somewhat later. Billiards is played with only 3 balls, 2 cue balls, one white with spots and the other yellow with spots, and a red ball. Each player is allocated a cue ball at the beginning and continues to play with that ball throughout the game. Determining who takes which ball is done by stringing for break. Closest to the balk end cushion gets the choice of order and cue ball colour. Players play to either a set target score or play for an agreed length of time, the winner being whoever is ahead when the timer sounds. Players can earn points by either potting or going into the pocket off another ball. Potting or going off the red is worth 3 points. Potting or going off your opponent's ball is worth 2 points. If the red is pocketed, it comes back up onto the billiard spot, or the black spot in snooker. If the opponent's ball is pocketed, it stays off the table, thereby limiting further scoring opportunities. If the player's cue ball enters the pocket with an in-off or loser, they are said to be in hand and can place the cue ball anywhere in the D for their next shot. They are not permitted to fire directly into the balk area, that area behind the front line of the D. Because of that rule, sometimes you will see players potting the opponent's ball and then placing one or both of the remaining balls in this protected balk area, hoping to force the opponent to make an error. The final method of scoring is to make contact between your cue ball and the other 2 balls, called a cannon, which is worth 2 points. It is also permitted to make multiple scores in a single shot. For instance, potting the red and scoring a cannon at the same time. With so many different ways to score points, billiards is a very creative game where individual shot preferences and individual strengths make for many varieties in the patterns of play. But having said that, there are quite a few tried and tested patterns of play that can yield consistently higher scores, and the players who know and master those patterns will dominate those with less precision or knowledge. Most players use a knowledge of half-ball angles, the so-called natural path of the cue ball after contact with another ball. Here are some common half-ball positions.
everybody, and welcome to the RACV Club in Melbourne, Australia for the 2019 World Billiards Championship. We're watching the opening match in the tournament here on our show table between Crossingham from Australia and Grant Hayward from New Zealand. The match has just started a moment ago. In this warm-up event, the World Open which runs here at the RACV Club for the next 2 days as a warm-up event for the main event here this week, the World Billiards Championship, starting on Tuesday. My name's David Pitt. I'm here in commentary next to Dan Lynch from Cue Ball TV, who is our producer for the coverage of the tournament here. And we're showing you the play on the number 8 table at the City Club, which has been set up specially for this tournament with spectator seating and TV lighting. It's 7 other tables at the club that we're using throughout the week, where we've got the cream of the world's best players here in Melbourne, coming from all over the world, England, Canada, Ireland, India, Myanmar, New Zealand, Singapore, Malaysia, and of course Australia, to compete for the oldest World Championship trophy in existence, which is the John Roberts Trophy, first played for in 1870, and which is here in Melbourne as the reward for that player, who on Saturday next will be crowned as the World Billiards Champion. At the moment, it's just the early skirmishes in this match between Grant Hayward and Gene Crossingham. Just have a slight glitch with our scoring system, and our technician is just attending to that at the moment. Gene Crossingham is a very keen billiardist. He's here for the week with his down from New South Wales. Entered the World Open at the first possible moment, and he's been a lucky late acceptance into the World Championship. Grant played in the qualifying tournament and finished 4th, but there's been 1 or 2 vacancies opened up by a couple of players who didn't appear, and so Gene was added to the field as an emergency. So he'll be delighted about that. He loves his billiards, and he'll be looking forward to playing and watching some of the world's best players here at the RACV City Club for the Reed Furniture World Open Billiards 2019. It's a traditional warm-up event for the Endeavour Life Care World Billiards Championship. Now we're seeing Grant Hayward from across the ditch from New Zealand. He's just attempting a difficult screwing off here. Strong right-hand side and screw. He's just going to try and spin that back into the pocket. Didn't quite get the right angle, and caught the jaws and just missed. The opening skirmish is going to Grant Hayward here. He's leading 25-2, as you can see, and now Gene has got an opportunity off the red. For those of you that haven't seen English billiards before, it's the oldest cue sport in the English-speaking world. I played on the same table as the snooker table. In fact, the tables were originally built for billiards. Snooker was a much later invention than billiards. At a 12-foot by 6-foot table, billiards is played with 3 balls. each player has his own cue ball, which they cue. There's a white ball with red dots, a yellow ball with red dots, and a yellow ball and a white, each with red dots, and the red ball. Red ball scores 3 points for a pot or an in-off, and the white ball scores 2 points, and he scored 2 points for a cannon. Nice 2-cushion cannon there from Grant Hayward from long distance to put himself behind the red, but unfortunately he's now got a pretty difficult shot here up the table. Just pushed that one a little bit wide and didn't quite make the pot. He's got a bit lucky here because Gene's got an easy enough in off the white there, but the red has got in the way, so now he has to change his shot and try something different. Yeah, just caught the jaws, and this could be the first fluke of the championship, and there it is. 3 points to Gene off a complete fluke, but that happens in billiards, as in any cue sport. Plays a part. Pretty shot that. Strong side to spin the ball off the cushion and come back and contact the red. He's got a nice contact there. You can see that cue ball continuing to revolve. It's a great innovation having the red spots on these balls, because it enables us spectators live in the venue, but also those watching on Cue Ball TV on the World Billiards YouTube channel to see exactly what the players are doing in terms of the spin that they're putting on the ball. Difficult thin shot here for Jane. She's just caught the high jaw. That looked easy, but it wasn't. It was just a little bit too narrow for him to play that comfortably. There's a field of 65 playing in the World Open here. We've got 8 tables in play all day here at the RACV club, and we have another 8 tables in play down at the Yarraville club at the Billiards and Snooker Academy, and it's just flat chat matches, 45-minute matches all day, and then with the knockout part of the tournament being played tomorrow. Billiards is an interesting game. It's a scoring game where the cumulative score counts, and there's a couple of ways of playing that. You can play matches up to a certain number of points, 100 up, 500 up, whatever it might be, but you can also play timed matches, as we are here all this week. These matches in this event are 45 minutes. In the World Championship, they're that's great. Yeah. In the World Championship, the round robin matches are 90 minutes, and then once we get to the knockout section of the final, we're heading up to 2, 3, 4, and 5-hour match in the final next Saturday, where we'll see the 2 best players in the world facing off for the world title. Great shot there by Gene Crossingham. He was in a position there that we call a double balk, both balls behind the balk line. He's not allowed to shoot back. But he went up and down the table, potted the red, and followed it in. Following it in was actually a bit lucky. He's followed that up with a beautiful attempt, a difficult 3-cushion cannon, which just missed. These balls aren't very big. They're 2 1/16 inch, 52.5 millimetres, and the table 12 by 6 is an awful lot of table and not a whole lot of ball. So it's a difficult game, this, but a very interesting and richly rewarding game. Now we're just seeing a safety shot there from Grant, trying to put the balls in a position where it's difficult for Gene to score. Nice shot that. Oh, he just overcooked that one. Attempted 2-cushion cannon there, but these are very responsive, the tables here. They've all been prepared as new for the championship. The club here has a beautiful set of 8 antique Alcock billiard tables. The table we're looking at here was made in the 1880s. It's a beautiful Duke of Edinburgh model in tulip wood, which is a rare and unusual and valuable piece. It comes with that's a nice shot down of the side of the table where you can see the intricate panelled woodwork on the table, and highly figured timbers, highly figured show timbers on this table. It's a really remarkable piece. The other 7 tables here at the RACV aren't far behind in that there's another Duke of Edinburgh model at the other end of the room on our other streaming table, which is even older. It dates from the 1870s, and the other 6 tables in the room are all very, very fine Alcock tables, each of them at least 100 years old. All these tables have been refurbished for World Championship play by Alcocks, who've been looking after the tables here since the club was founded in 1904, and they're still at it today. And they've refitted these tables with new cushion rubbers on most of the tables. There's a new strawn, superfine billiard cloth on the beds, and really these conditions here are as good as the players could hope to be playing on. The commentary from the players so far in their 2 days of practice, the conditions are really, really excellent. And there goes Junior. He's had the first 2 flukes of the World Championship, so he's on top of the leaderboard in that department. Nice shot there, just taking the white into his ball into the middle pocket and putting the white in around the pyramid spot, or the pink spot as it's known in snooker. And this is a good position to be able to go and off into either of the top pockets and bring the white around for his next shot, which he's done quite nicely, leaving the white in drop cannon position to be able to bring it down to the top of the table. Nice shot there, drop cannon, dropping the balls down in front of him. So with 2 balls in front of him, he's got the ability to control them nicely. Little gentle shot there, pushing the red over the pocket to pot that, and then continue on with the cannon sequence. Ooh. That red just caught the jaw there. These are championship pockets here, which are possibly tighter than the players might be used to playing in their clubs. That ball just caught the jaw and sat over the pocket for Grant to just play a shot, which he's made a bit of a hash of that one because he's left himself in underneath the red in a quite difficult position. So now he's playing an interesting shot, unusual shot. It's called a masse shot, played with a vertical cue. So you've just got a beautiful shot of it there on our top rail camera. Grant there raised his cue vertically and put backspin on the ball to spin it back into the pocket. Unfortunately for him, he's hit it either too hard or not hard enough, and the red ball's gone into walk where it's out of play. event here at the RACV is the World Billiards Championship. It's been conducted by the Australian Billiards and Snooker Council on behalf of World Billiards. It's only the third time that this event has been played in Australia. Whereas it's normally played in England and has been played in India on a couple of occasions. And that was a very good shot there. Very good shot there from Grant. He had to come play out of walk, spin his ball off the side cushion back into walk, and he's not only made the cannon but also potted the red. So, a position that looked like a good one for Gene, with a very good shot, with an element of luck. Grant has now made that, turned that around to his advantage. So the safety shot by Gene has really backfired here with Grant getting the upper hand. He's left himself a rather difficult shot here to going off. It's a little bit too thin, so I think he's just potting the white and coming down to play safety off to play and score off the red. So the Australian Billiards and Snooker Council and the organising committee have had some wonderful support here in bringing this event to Australia. First and foremost from the RACV club, which has supported the event in offering their magnificent club. Not only their billiards room with its beautiful tables, first-class conditions, plenty of space around the table, spectator seating. Everything you could wish for an event of this type, but also in accommodation. The club has accommodation, and all the visiting players from interstate and overseas are staying at the RACV club here in the heart of Melbourne for the week, and are able to enjoy the wonderful facilities in this club, which includes several different places to dine. There's bars, pool, gym, spa, all sorts of things. Nice little shot there by Gene spinning his ball across to make a cannon, but unfortunately he's pushed the red up the side cushion, which is really out of play. Difficult shot this coming up. And of course this event couldn't have happened without the support of our sponsors. Sport and Recreation Victoria and the Victorian Government, as part of their state sporting events program, has given us wonderful support for this event. The RACV club, as I've already mentioned, their support has been outstanding. Endeavour Life Care, the furniture company, who is the major sponsor of the World Championship, and whose equipment we're featuring in different parts of the room during the week, is a major sponsor. And we have two other companies in that group: Reed Furniture sponsoring the event we're watching now, the World Open, and Silex Ergonomics sponsoring the World Women's Championship, which is also being played for the first time in Australia as part of this week of billiards here at the RACV. We've also had great support from Lock Logistics, a storage company who are able to look after your wine storage needs. Hanging Rock Winery, who are our wine sponsor, who provided with some of their wonderful wines for our events, and also for a very interesting daily prize. There's a guess the high break competition each day, so you can enter here at the RACV and just put in the size of break that you think will be the high break for the day. The winner each day wins a magnum of Hanging Rock wine, which that's fun. The Mount Compass Golf Course over in South Australia, in the middle of a beautiful wine region down there, is sponsoring us here. Resolution Imaging, who've done our program, Aussie Fresh Australia, who are backers of a most interesting prize that we've developed here this week, and which has caused a lot of interest and excitement among the leading players and the spectators. In addition to the prize money for the event, there's a $24,000 bonus for any player that can make 1,000 break in this event. I'll talk about that a little bit later on. Of course, Alcox have been, a major sponsor in this event, in putting together the bit that really counts, which is refurbishing the tables for championship play and presenting them in the best possible condition. And their team has just been outstanding in the approach that they've taken to ensuring that no stone is left unturned in making this the best possible event. It's Strawn of Stroud, our cloth supplier, providing this wonderful, finest quality West of England cloth to play on. Salak, the makers of the Aramuth balls that we're playing with, supplied the balls for this championship, and of course Consolidated Leisure and Sport, the sponsor of record for the Australian Billiards and Snooker Council, who support them year round for over 20 years now in all their endeavours. So we're seeing a pretty close match here. Grant Hayward 50. So Gene Crossingham just has his nose in front here, 65-46, but anything can happen in these short matches. These are 45-minute matches, which is a pretty short game in billiards, and we're just about at the halfway mark now. So anything can happen here. I did want to talk about the World Championship in Melbourne. This is the second time that the World Billiards Championship has been held in Melbourne, formerly known as the World Professional Billiards Championship, and only the third time it's been held in Australia. So I'll talk about the second time. The second time was held at the Fairmont Resort in New South Wales in 1989, when really that was quite a sensational event, because two young 20-year-olds played off in the final of that event, won by Mike Russell, beating Peter Gilchrist, and that was a really amazing turning point in billiards, which traditionally had been seen as a game which takes decades to master, and nearly all the champions of the past years had been in their 30s or 40s. But these two young guns came out at the age of 20 and played off in the final of the World Championship. Both of those players are here today and playing here at the RACV. If you want to see some first-class billiards, stick around here on World Billiards YouTube channel, or come into the RACV and you'll be able to see not only those two great players, but also virtually all of the leading players in the world, including seven former world champions who are playing here this week. I'll talk about the other times that this championship has been held in Melbourne. The first was in 1934, when Melbourne's own Walter Lyndon, the greatest billiards player of all time, defended his title against Joe Davis of England in rather controversial circumstances. Lyndon won the title in 1933 in England, and had always been played in England up until that date. And he announced then that he was bringing the trophy back home to Australia, and if the English wanted to play him for it, they'd have to come to Australia and play him here. That caused a great deal of consternation. It's fair to say the Commons weren't very happy about that, but he had the trophy and he was the champion. So in the end, Joe Davis came out to Australia to play Boulton for the title here in Melbourne at the Flinders Street Station, of all places, in the VRO ballroom up on the third floor of the Flinders Street Station, which is a beautiful venue which has been used for all sorts of purposes, gatherings, balls, of course, dancing, different activities over the years. Sadly now it's in a state of disrepair and not open to the public. But we're in an equally iconic venue this year. Ooh, that one nearly went in, and it's just lobbed into a very nice position there for Grant. He's on what's known as a half-ball line, where he can just go in off, aim for the edge of the red. His ball will... Ooh, wow, he just ran through that a little bit thick and missed that one. That's a bread and butter shot for players of this class. That could be a little bit costly for Grant because he was in a good position there, and he's just let them get away from him. Jeans just snuck out to a bit of a lead. And the 7 world champions that we have here this week, Robbie Falvari, who is the only Australian apart from Boulton to win this event. He won it as a 25-year-old. In the 1980s. He's had a remarkable career, winning 3 World Billiards Championships and many other events around the world, and he's the only player in the modern era to have won a professional snooker and professional billiards tournament. Robbie's also the resident professional here at the RACV club and has come out of retirement in billiards to play in this championship. So it's great to see Robbie back on the table. He's been practising hard, I know that, because I've been in here pulling the balls out for him while he's practising on a couple of occasions, and it's been many years since Robbie competed at top flight billiards. Billiards is a bit like riding a bicycle. That's once learned, never forgotten. And if Robbie can get anywhere near to his form of years past, he will definitely give the top players here. They'll know they're in a contest. Our other world champions here are the defending champion Sourav Kothari from India, who won it in a tremendous performance last year, where in his last 8 match, in the semi-final and again in the final, he came from behind with big breaks over 300 and won the title. Joining the list of celebrated Indians who've won this championship, which includes Deep Sethi and Pankaj Advani. David Corsier from England is another former 3-time winner of this event who's here, and he's come out from England to play. He's been a major force over the last 5 or 6 years in world championships, and quite an unorthodox player, but it'd be very interesting to see him playing here during the week. Pankaj Advani from India is also playing, which is a tremendous, for the lovers of billiards, to be able to see Pankaj out here in Australia, and they're competing here. Pankaj has won 22 world titles in Q Sports in billiards, in snooker, and in 6 red snooker. He won his first world billiards title at the age of 20, and he's a big star in India. Big star in India. He's got over 1 million followers on Twitter, which is kind of hard to reconcile with billiards. Is one of the we can't say that it's one of the highest profile sports going around. Another world champion playing here this week is Mike Russell of England, an 18-time world champion who first won this championship at the age of 20. He's been putting in the hard yards in practice this week in preparation for the tournament. He's a beautiful player and a great competitor, and one of the one of the select few players who've made 1,000 break at billiards in match conditions. Another former world champion, Peter Gilchrist from Singapore, formerly of England, now living in Singapore. Peter's won 3 world titles and holds the world record under the current rules of 1,346, and he's also got another 1,000 break which he made in Ireland in 2014. So a very nice shot there from Gene, bringing his ball round off 3 cushions to score the cannon. Peter's a really very, very strong player, beautiful to watch, and he was definitely one of the major chances here this week. And our other world champion is Rupesh Shah from India, who won his first Indian national championship at the age of 19, and then went on to win the World Billiards Championship in Singapore in 2007, and again at Leeds in 2012. So tremendously strong field of internationals here, with those 7 former world champions, and some great challenges, including a couple from Australia that are really expected to put up a big challenge this week. Matthew Boulton, who's an 18-time Australian national champion and holds the Australian record of 809, and Melbourne's own Steve Mifsud, the former world amateur snooker champion, who's really in the form of his life, having made 3 breaks over 400 in match play this year, including his best ever break of 575 in the Australian National earlier this year. So very excited the Melbourne and the Australian locals to be playing here in our country under these great conditions, for a world championship. So just looking at this game here, Gene Crossingham has snuck out to a fairly handy lead of about 30 points. There's only 12 minutes left, so with Grant will just need to do something a little bit special to get back into this one. And if Gene maintains his record of flukes, then it's going to be very difficult for Grant to do that. That's number 3 at least while we've been watching, and we. So a couple of exchanges there which didn't go Grant's way, and now he's left Gene an easy enough the white to open his account on this break. Going it off means that he can now play from anywhere in the D and shoot towards the top of the table, which he's done, just pushing the white down there to leave a cannon. But at this stage, with a handy lead of 30 or so, and the clock ticking away, Gene's looking the favourite here. Yeah, nice controlled shot there, leaving both balls in front of him, which is always the objective in billiards. You know, once you've got one in front of you and one behind you, things start to get difficult. But if you've got both the balls in front of you, then everything's okay. He split them up here, but he's left himself an easy in off the white, so quite good going. So later on today we'll be seeing some of the big guns in action on our live stream here, courtesy of Cue Ball TV, and you'll see a little bit of a lift in standard of the play when those guys get on the table. Nice controlled shot there. These cloths are very, very fast on these tables, and you can't afford to hit the balls hard. You've just got to sort of baby them along all the time, trying to keep the balls under control. As soon as you start hitting them hard, the balls just get away from you. Oh, they're very sensitive, and that means it's very easy to overscrew the shot, as Gene just did then. If he was playing it at his own club, that ball would have gone into the middle of the pocket, but on this sensitive cloth it's gripped and turned at a sharper angle, making it different for him. Nice cushion first in off there by Grant. Yeah, it's a good opportunity here for Grant. He's got both the balls down at the top of the table. And a nice opportunity to make an easy 20 or 30 here, which will put him right back in the match. In fact, it's only 20 behind now, so this could make it quite interesting. Good shot, nice shot there of the red going into the pocket, and now just a little gentle cannon here, keeping the balls in front again. Our referee for this match is Devaj Sharir from India. He's one of the leading lights in world billiards, a younger player of 25 or so from India, currently ranked about number 6 in the world, and he's just flown in this morning after just a minor visa problem, which looked like causing him some difficulty, but he's arrived, and no sooner has he walked in the club than we've put him to work refereeing in this event, because there's so many matches in such a sport paced such a short space of time. The referees are sharing a little bit of the refereeing duties. The players, I'm sorry, are sharing the refereeing duties on this first day. But we do have a great team of experienced and avid referees who've come here from around Australia and around the world to be here at this event. A bit lucky there, Gene. He's missed a run through in off and knocked the red onto the top cushion, which means that Grant doesn't really have a shot here at all. He can pot the white, and he might even make this cannon, but he's not going to have much of a shot after this. Actually, that's worked out pretty well. If he can just take this red along the top cushion, and lovely shot there, Dan. Our producer Dan Lynch here is a master of Q Sports broadcasting. He's been broadcasting pool, snooker and billiards for a number of years now here in Melbourne. He's just operates as a one-man band, but he's got a 4-camera setup here for this live streaming, and he's adept at bringing the best shots to you, the viewer, of this wonderful, complex and interesting game of billiards. So we're really getting out of the crunch here. There's under 4 minutes to go. Gene Crossingham facing a double balk, both balls behind the balk line, which means he has to shoot outside the balk line to try and spin his ball back in for position. This time he's hit the red but hasn't disturbed, hasn't scored, but he's left a rather difficult position here for Grant. Attempting a cannon here, he may get a double kiss. No, he's played that beautifully. Or if you want, that's unlucky. Grant wanted that one to stay out and for the red just to be over the pocket, so he could position his white ball for the next shot. As it is, he hasn't got a shot here. He can pot the white, but he hasn't got a method for developing the break. Mind you, he doesn't actually need a break because he's only one behind. Oh, in fact, if he'd got that cannon, he'd be one in front. Oh, it's advantage actually Grant at the moment. He's got a half ball in off. Just needs to play this smoothly with a bit of a right-hand side. Oh, he just caught that one a bit thin. And he's fluked the red. That is a wonderful time to get a fluke when you're one in front with 2.5 minutes left. Very good time, but he's not out of the woods here. He's got a difficult, slow pot here. And if he misses it, then Gene has the advantage of coming to the table with both balls out in the open. So 2 minutes left and plenty of time for Gene to do something here. That fluke may not have been all the time. Okay, yeah. Oh, I could too, yeah, of course. So I've just been reminded that the clock that you're seeing on the screen may not be strictly accurate, as the official timer for the match is running off the referee's clock. So here we go. Nice shot by Gene there, 2-cushion cannon. So at the moment the score's a level. Just done that one a bit. Well, we could be up for our first tie in our first televised match. And I have to tell you that although on the organising committee, I can't tell you off the top of my head what the procedure is in the event of a tie, whether it stands as a tie or whether there's a playoff of some form to determine that. But anyway, that's hypothetical because at the moment we have a leader. The clock ticking down, and Grant will try and put both balls behind balk here, leave them safe for Gene, and yeah, he'd be perfectly happy with that. Advantage Grant at the moment. So just to explain the format of play during the day today, we've got 9 rounds of round-robin matches, each 15 minutes, with a 15-minute break between each match. So every hour on the hour, there's the bell. So Grant Hayward wins by 2 points in an enthralling battle, which obviously could have gone either way with such a short margin. So as I was saying, we've got matches on the hour every hour here at the RACV. And we'll be back at 11 o'clock for the next match here in the Reed Furniture World Open. Thanks, Dan, and thank you, commentary team. This is David Pitt, just signing off for the moment from the RACV Club in Melbourne, Australia.
heavier than that on the push-ups.
Yeah, well, a couple of pounds.
Finish.